it was just hard for me because I wanted my sisters to be successful because they were so talented. But to be fair, on LA and Babyface side, I am 10 years older than Tamar and 5 years older than my very next sister in line after me, Traci.
Toni Braxton should have been untouchable. 7 Grammys, 70 million albums sold, a voice that defined a generation. But behind the spotlight was a woman drowning, emotionally, financially, and physically, all while carrying the people she loved most. What if the same family you sacrificed everything for was the one quietly pulling you under? And what happens when you're the lifeline of your entire family, and that lifeline starts to snap under the weight of health struggles, back-to-back bankruptcies, and constant fighting?
You know, I would get my money and transfer it over
To other people.
Sometimes it went directly to those people because, for instance, I'm out on the road. I know all these, and I would watch your show and I'd hear you say, you and Bill Cosby, and you say, make sure you sign all your checks.
Sign all your
those
checks.
things.
Yeah.
Keep watching because we're diving deep into the incredible story of Toni Braxton's dramatic sacrifice for the people she loves and how it just might have drained her dry. Long before the world knew her name, Toni was already carrying burdens far heavier than gold records. At just 14, when her mother suffered a devastating injury, Toni became the surrogate parent of 6. Her father was working non-stop, and the responsibility of raising her siblings, feeding them, guiding them, fell squarely on her shoulders. It was her sister Traci who once told her,
I believed in everyone else. You know, I'm trying to master the artistry, the singing, and I'm singing on stage, and I'm on tour for almost a year, and a lot of times, I mean, it's just...
So did the people come in your house and actually are like going through your things?
Yeah.
when you make it, help us. And Toni did just that for decades, quietly, tirelessly, without complaint. But that promise came with a cost Toni could never have imagined. She later admitted, "If I didn't have that weight on me, I would have soared higher. The world saw a superstar." In 1993, her debut album exploded, reaching #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 10 million copies. Breathe Again, another sad love song, smash after smash.
So a little scary. I'm going there thinking, oh, just my heart a little pericarditis. And they're saying, no, you have blood clots. So very fortunate, very lucky they diagnosed it early.
Then came Secrets, another multi-platinum masterpiece that included Unbreak My Heart, one of the best-selling singles of all time. But while the charts were climbing, behind the scenes, Toni was quietly covering her family's bills, helping with rent, buying cars, supporting her mother. Only Tamar, the youngest and often the most criticized, ever stepped in to share the load. The rest, they assumed Toni got it, and they were right. Until she didn't.
I was forced to slow down then, but sometimes it's challenging being a mom and a working mom trying to slow down. We forget to take the sign. I should say to listen to the signs and tell your body to take a little break, slow down. So I'm going to do better at listening to my body.
The cracks started to show publicly. Trina and Towanda weren't just accepting Toni's help. They expected to get paid for any work they did with her. Shows, background vocals, assistant work. Even as Toni shouldered nearly every expense, they wanted compensation. Meanwhile, Tamar, who was helping financially, never asked for a dime. Toni said it best. "I just wish every situation wasn't about Toni's savings and loans."
I was just starting, so I was catching up. So at 14, that's when I would start to sneak a little bit. The bus driver would play music on the bus, but at home, unless it was the gospel singer James Cleveland or somebody, or Going Up Yonder, Tremaine Hawkins, no.
It wasn't just disappointing, it was hurtful. And what really stung, Toni felt like even when she gave, it still wasn't enough. How does a global superstar with $170 million in record sales end up filing for bankruptcy? That's the question fans asked when Toni Braxton shocked the world in 1998. Despite her chart-topping success, Toni received less than 35 cents per album. When it was all said and done, she'd earned under $2,000 in royalties.
This guy, this billionaire guy, called my agent and was like, I need for Toni Braxton to come and do a private show, just a private show, me and my girl. My agent called, do you want to? I'm like, okay, where is he? He said, Italy, yes, I'm going to go.
She sued her label. 8 weeks later, she filed for bankruptcy. The expenses? She was being billed for her own music videos, travel, wardrobe, even studio time. It was a financial setup disguised as stardom. But things took an even darker turn when Toni was accused of secretly transferring over $53,000 to her husband to avoid paying creditors. The whispers of fraud followed her like a shadow.
Okay. And apparently they broke up. He did something bad. And he wanted me to sing Unbreak My Heart, just to the two of them.
Really?
Yes, can you sing Unbreak My Heart? Just one song, sing it to my girl, and she forgave him.
She thought telling her side on Oprah would humanize her. Instead, it felt like a public shaming. Oprah asked, "I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey, and even I don't have Gucci flatware." Toni was stunned. "I didn't even know Gucci made silverware. You don't have it because you don't want it, not because you can't afford it," she recalled, thinking. That interview shattered her. "She made me feel this big," Toni said. Some even claim Oprah tipped off Toni's label before the show aired, sabotaging her from behind the scenes. In 2010, tragedy struck again. This time, it wasn't money, it was her health. Toni was diagnosed with microvascular angina and later lupus. Her Las Vegas residency, which could have rebuilt her finances, had to be canceled. The insurance wouldn't cover a thing. She was forced to eat the cost of an entire Vegas show. Venue, crew, lighting, band, hotel rooms, all of it. Paid from her own pocket. She filed for bankruptcy again. And through all this, she was still caring for her family, still being the dependable one, still being Toni. Then came the IRS. In 2019, Toni was hit with 2 major tax liens, one from the IRS for over $340,000 and another from the California Franchise Tax Board for $116,000. $500,000 in unpaid taxes. Fans started whispering, is her family part of the problem? The emotional toll, the constant financial pressure, the feeling that her love had been taken for granted. Some even questioned whether the stress contributed to the worsening of her disease. Because Toni wasn't just struggling financially, she was fighting to survive. When Braxton family values returned, so did the drama. The sisters were arguing again. This time over payment. Toni and Tamar were offered more. The others didn't understand why. A massive blowout happened on set. Producers reportedly had to shut down filming. And in a shocking moment, Toni walked out. She said she was done with the arguing, done with being unappreciated. Then came missed events. Social media shade. Tamar's cooking show premiered. But none of the sisters showed up. Just days earlier, a major fight had erupted. Towanda began posting cryptic messages like, "To everyone who has distanced themselves from me, stay there." She later got married in an intimate ceremony. Toni and Trina stood beside her. Tamar, nowhere in sight. And it got worse. Before Traci Braxton passed away, she had one final wish, for the sisters to stay united, but that wish has gone unfulfilled. Tamar and Towanda barely speak. Tamar accuses the family of gaslighting her. She even went into treatment saying, "My family is awful." Toni? She found out she was blocked on social media by Tamar when she tried to tag her on her birthday. Her reaction? "I wanted to repost that gorgeous picture, but I'm blocked again." Tamar fired back, "You could have just called me." That post is gaslighting. Screenshots were posted. The world watched their breakdown unfold in real time. And Toni? She stayed mostly silent until now. She's not just heartbroken, she's done. Toni Braxton gave the world her gift, her voice, her music, her soul. But behind closed doors, she gave even more. Her money, her energy, her loyalty, and in the end, it cost her nearly everything. Bankrupt, betrayed, heartbroken. So here's the question. Was Toni Braxton's downfall caused by bad luck or by the very people she loved the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because one thing's for sure, behind every R&B legend is a story you were never meant to hear.